Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Blame It on the Stars, where we give you an inside look at what's going on in the universe so you can blame your problems on the stars. It is Jade here.
And it's Kara.
And this week, Virgo season begins. We're going to give you an entire overview of everything that is going to happen so you know what you're getting into up front. And spoiler alert, well, if you listen to last week's episode where we talked all about Mercury retrograde ending and Saturn sextile Uranus, you would have probably also heard me say that Virgo season has a lot going on. So this is definitely an episode to have your pen and paper out for, to take some notes and write things down.
And just to give you a heads up, next week we'll tell you everything that you need to know about Venus in Leo, Uranus sextile Neptune, and Saturn retrograde into Pisces, and how all of those will affect you.
And since this week the sun enters Virgo and we have the new moon in Virgo, we'll cover all of these things in today's episode in a little bit more depth, but everything else that will happen, such as Venus entering Leo and Venus entering Virgo, Uranus sextile Neptune, Saturn retrograde in Pisces, Mercury in Virgo and Mercury in Libra, Jupiter trine the North Node, Uranus retrograde in Gemini, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, and the solar eclipse in Virgo, and Mars in Scorpio will all have their own episode in the weeks to come. Don't say I did not warn you. This is a very long and intensive Virgo season. Let's get right into it. So when does this whole planetary party happen?
Like shebang.
It all begins when the sun enters a Virgo on August 22nd at 4:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And per usual, the date and time are from the website astroseek.com. How this affects you. When the sun enters Virgo, you'll begin to take on more of the Virgo qualities. So you'll notice that you're more focused on practicality, getting organized, and maybe some self-improvement. So this is definitely a time to be focusing on the details and take action on things that require more precision and structure. This is also a really good time to be nurturing your health and your well-being and really honing in on your daily routines.
What you can expect. During this time, you're going to be focused on working hard, organizing your environment, whether that's at work or at home, and working on projects that require a lot of detail and precision. This is a good time to be productive. But at the same time, it can be very easy to get really caught up in perfectionism. So just remember to take a step back and to appreciate everything that you have accomplished so far.
And there are a few key dates you're going to want to pay attention to. These are the aspects that the sun will make as it moves through Virgo. Starting off on August 24th, the sun will square Uranus, which can bring some tension and disruption into your routine. So as you're thinking about settling into routines, Uranus might shake things up right off the bat. Just expect the unexpected, but also take this as a day to possibly break free from any old habits and shake things up when it comes to your personal growth.
And then on September 10th, the sun will be opposite the North Node. This is a more challenging aspect that is going to ask you to reflect and reassess whether your current habits and goals are in alignment with your overall dreams or purpose. You might feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect between where you are right now and where you want to go. Even though this can be very challenging, this could be a good day to reflect on your past, maybe revisit things and see what lessons you learned that you can continue to use to inform your decisions and goals moving forward.
And then on September 12th, the sun will sextile Jupiter, which is a very optimistic and expansive type energy. So you'll probably notice that there is a feeling or a sense of abundance and possibly even more opportunities for growth. So this is a day where you're going to want to embrace positivity and pursue any of your goals or tasks with confidence.
And then on September 13th, the sun will be conjunct Mercury. This is a good day for clear communication and mental clarity. It's a great time to express your ideas and make decisions.
And then lastly, on September 21st, the sun will be opposite Saturn, which is a bit of a challenging aspect that could feel like a possible roadblock, but it is still a good day for taking responsibility, working hard, and addressing any personal obstacles that might be in your way. Now, the next thing happening during Virgo season is the new moon in Virgo, which is on August 23rd at 2:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that could be a 22nd if you're in a different time zone. What you need to know: the new moon in Virgo will invite you to start fresh in areas related to work, health, and personal organization. So this is a day to be setting intentions on improving your routines, honing in on your skills, and focusing on balancing your physical and mental well-being.
Something you should know is that this new moon will be square Uranus, which can bring about some unexpected changes or disruptions to your plans. While this is still a time to set intentions and goals for the new moon, know that you might need to be flexible because things might happen in a way that you didn't expect. This is a good time to embrace change and to go with the flow.
Now, everything else that we're about to mention will have their own episodes in the weeks to come, but we will still tell you about them now so you know what to expect. Starting with Venus entering Leo on August 25th at 12:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you can expect is that Venus in Leo will bring a very bold but also playful energy to your creativity and your relationships. So you might find that you're feeling just more expressive with your friends and the people around you, and you might be feeling more generous.
Something you might not know is that while Venus in Leo is usually a very positive and charming energy, there will be a square to Uranus and an opposition to Pluto, which is really going to intensify the transit. It can bring sudden shifts to your relationships or just a desire to break free from expectations or try something new.
The next thing happening in Virgo season is Uranus sextile Neptune on August 28th at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know is this aspect will bring a blend of intuition but also innovation, really encouraging you to explore new ideas. So this could be a day for having breakthroughs when it comes to creativity, if you've been in a creative rut, spirituality, and also just personal insights in general.
How this affects you. On this day, you might notice that you're drawn to new or unconventional ideas or interested in reconnecting with your spiritual side. This aspect has a very dreamy energy and it can encourage you to follow your intuition and explore your creativity. So use this as a chance to embrace your creative outlets and to trust your instincts.
A few days after that aspect, we'll have Saturn retrograding into Pisces. This will be September 1st at 4:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Something you should know is that Saturn's been retrograde in Aries for a while, but when it shifts into Pisces, it's going to bring this very final review of the lessons that you have learned during Saturn in Pisces. So think emotional boundaries, spirituality, and personal responsibility. This is the last pass through the Pisces energy, starting from this retrograde moment up until it stations direct and moves back into Aries. These are the final moments of Saturn in Pisces.
What you can expect. This is a time of closure on themes related to your spiritual growth, emotional boundaries, and letting go of any fears or assumptions. Use this as a time to reflect and find closure, especially related to your inner self and personal transformation.
The day after Saturn retrogrades into Pisces, Mercury will enter Virgo. This will happen on September 2nd at 9:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you: Mercury in Virgo will sharpen your mind, making this a really good time for any detailed focus work, analysis, or even organization. So you might feel the urge to communicate in a more practical manner and organize your thoughts.
Something you might not know: Mercury in Virgo is going to have some challenging aspects to Uranus and the nodes. This can bring some disruptions to your communication, even though Mercury is at home in Virgo. Typically, this is a more smooth transit, but because of the aspects, you're going to be challenged to find a balance between practicality and dreaming big. There also might be times where you're having new insights or realizations that are asking you to reassess or change your direction.
The next thing happening during Virgo season is Jupiter trining the North Node. This is on September 4th at 3:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you: this aspect will bring some opportunities for growth and alignment with your purpose. So you might feel a sense of expansion, positivity, and feeling like the right circumstances are aligning for you to move forward to your next chapter.
What you can expect: overall, this is a very positive and optimistic energy. It's a great time to get into the flow of things and trust yourself and the universe. This is a time to really lock in on any opportunities that present themselves to you and align yourself with your goals.
Now, for a little shakeup, Uranus will station retrograde in Gemini on September 6th at 12:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that could be September 5th if you're in a different time zone. What you need to know is that Uranus retrograde in Gemini will prompt a period of introspection when it comes to your thoughts, how you communicate or connect with others, whether that be face-to-face or digitally. So you might feel there's a need to rethink some old patterns of thinking or just the way that you engage with your social circle.
Something you should know: during this retrograde, it's really important that you're open to revisiting your communication style and the way that you interact with technology. This could mean reflecting on your digital boundaries, maybe adjusting some of the settings in your phone, your notifications. A good time just to check in with the way that you are interacting with technology of any kind. It's also a time where you're going to be more focused on your internal world and understanding of things rather than what's going on around you.
And now for the eclipses. It's also eclipse season. Starting off with the lunar eclipse in Pisces. This will be on September 7th at 2:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you: the lunar eclipse in Pisces will bring some emotional endings or a feeling of culmination, especially related to any personal beliefs, creativity, or spirituality. So this is definitely a time to be letting go of any confusion or illusions that might be fogging up your vision and embrace more clarity in your emotional and spiritual life.
What you need to know: this eclipse is going to aspect Mercury, which is going to place more of a focus on communication, thought patterns, and mental clarity. You can expect to have deeper insights on this day or realizations that may shift your beliefs or attachments.
Remember earlier when Mercury entered Virgo? Well, surprise, during Virgo season, Mercury will move from Virgo into Libra. And that'll happen on September 18th at 6:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what you can expect with Mercury in Libra is you'll shift your focus from practicality to balance, diplomacy, and fair communication. So during Mercury in Libra, you'll be more inclined to seek harmony in your relationships and engage in conversations or interactions that require more mutual understanding.
Something you might not know is that Mercury will be opposite Neptune and square Jupiter, which can bring about misunderstandings or a tendency to want to see the best in others. So just be mindful of miscommunication and do your best to stay grounded during this time.
Remember when Venus entered Leo earlier in the episode? Venus enters Virgo also within Virgo season. Mercury and Venus are moving quickly. What can I tell you? Venus will enter Virgo on September 19th at 8:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what you need to know is this will bring a focus on practicality, service, and noticing the little things in your relationships. So you'll be more inclined to seek more meaningful connections that are more grounded in reality and mutual respect.
How this affects you. In your relationships, you're going to be more focused on expressing your love and care for others through practical actions, such as helping others or focusing more on your health and wellness. However, Venus is going to square Uranus and oppose Saturn, which can bring some tension and challenging energy, especially related to themes of commitment and long-term goals.
And back into the eclipses, we'll have a solar eclipse in Virgo on September 21st at 3:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Something you should know is the solar eclipse in Virgo will bring powerful new beginnings, especially in those areas related to health, work, and daily routines. This eclipse can definitely help you reset and make adjustments to areas of your life that need improvement.
What you can expect, there is some mixed energy in the aspects for this eclipse. First, there's a conjunction to Mercury, which again is going to place more of a focus on communication and decision making. However, there also will be an opposition to Saturn and Neptune, which can bring about some challenges in balancing practicality with idealism. So overall, you can expect to experience moments of clarity and moments of confusion, especially related to work or your own habits and health related goals.
And then coming in just a few hours before Libra season begins, but still squeezing itself into Virgo season, Mars entering Scorpio. This is on September 22nd at 3:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How this affects you. Mars in Scorpio will bring some intensity, passion, and drive to everything that you do. It is a time for deep transformation, especially in matters related to personal empowerment.
Something you might not know is that Mars will square Pluto, but other than that, it will make all positive aspects, which is really going to be a very positive energy after all of the reflections and realizations that happened throughout Virgo season before Mars entered Scorpio. Once Mars is in Scorpio, as Jade mentioned, it's a very driven and motivated energy, which is going to help you to work on your goals and make progress.
And that is a wrap on Virgo season. Don't say we did not warn you that this is a very jam-packed season. So if you feel a lot of shifts happening, you understand why. That's why we're here. So you can blame your problems on the stars. Next week, just a reminder, we'll be talking all about Venus in Leo, Uranus sextile Neptune, and Saturn retrograding into Pisces. If you want to know more about that in greater detail, then definitely make sure wherever you're listening to the podcast, you're subscribed with the notifications turned on so you don't miss when we post next week. But until then, that is all for now, and we'll see you all next Monday. Bye.